hell, like I can't have my tattoos out. And I made a bit of a protest, a bit of a point about it, and I decided to put a bandage over it. So I'd have these nice, pretty, summery dresses on, and then I'd have like this big bandage down my arm, just to make the point that I'm like, it's ridiculous. It's 2017. People should be allowed to express themselves.
Okay. Brodie Cook, welcome to Redventures, the podcast that takes you on an exhilarating journey through the lives of entrepreneurs and business owners. Interestingly, not only are you our first guest from Australia, you are also neither an entrepreneur or a business owner, but I do think you've got a very interesting tale for us. So tell our listeners and watchers a little bit about yourself, Brodie.
Well, thanks for having me, Richard. Yeah, as you said, my name's Brodie. I live in Australia. Obviously, I'm not Australian, you can probably hear, but I moved here about a year and a half ago, properly sort of 3 months ago. I'm an accountant, boo, but don't hold that against me. Yeah, I'm 26 years old almost, or however many months it is. And we work together at the chamber, so we've got a few interesting stories to tell, I'm sure.
Well, technically, we didn't. You volunteered for the chamber, so I worked as a contractor, so we didn't work together. But
True,
we
I did
we
it
we
out
did.
of the goodness of my heart, whereas you were sort of
Yeah, I would call that an experience rather than working together.
trauma bonding.
Yes, trauma bonding. Yeah. And some of them are probably going to listen to this and be like, "What are they going on about?" Okay. So yes. So just for a little backstory, then, I obviously live in Weymouth. For those who didn't know, at episode 17 or whatever episode we're on now, Brodie used to live in Weymouth. We both were on the helped with the local chamber of commerce, where Brodie was the treasurer, weren't you?
Yep.
Gifted by a local accounts firm. I don't know if Brodie wants to mention the name of them, or if we shall keep that secret. We'll discuss that momentarily. So that's how we met. And then we've been friends since. And I think it's probably because, although I'm quite a bit older than you, we were still the youngest people on the chamber there.
We were bringing the average age down a lot.
We did, we did bring it down quite a lot.
Again, sorry,
Um,
anyone watching this.
yeah, I'm sure they're fine. So, oh no, actually, there was one person who was a solicitor for a firm that was a similar age to me. I think she might
Oh,
have even been
yeah,
slightly younger than me.
I
We
miss
won't name
her.
and shame. Yeah, I she doesn't. I haven't spoken to her for ages. I must reach out.
No, I haven't. Yeah, same.
Maybe she wants to be on Adventures. Okay, then, Brodie. Let's start on the. So yeah, you've had an interesting career journey, and you did undersell yourself earlier. You're not just an accountant, are you? You're chartered. You've got multiple letters after your name. You're chartered here in the UK. You're chartered there in Australia and New Zealand. So well done for downplaying yourself there. No points, nil point. All
Nil
right.
pois, but
So
lots of letters.
yeah, lots of letters, zero numbers. Um, Okay. So when you were over on the Isle of Portland, your birthplace, and you were at school, what career aspirations did you have?
Do you know what? I actually had a couple and still have some. So when I don't know, I think I decided I wanted to be a hairdresser from a young age. You know, when you have the Barbie, like the styling head, and you decide you want to be a hairdresser. I had like really ringlet curl hair, and my mum didn't know what to do with it. So I basically walked around with an afro for like the first 13 years of my life. So I think I just wanted to stop other people going through that struggle. And then I think I wanted to be a drama teacher. Um, Little known fact about me, but I actually did very well in drama at school. It was my only A star in my GCSEs, so I feel like it could have been that. And then when I went to sixth form, I wanted to be a crime scene investigator.
Ooh, that's quite. Oh no, I was thinking that it's quite difficult to get in, and there's only 7 in the country. But what I was thinking was the criminal psychologist. Uh, the person that comes along and says, "Why has this person committed this crime, and what are they like? Give us the old description of the man we're looking for, or the
No,
person we're
I
looking for."
wanted to do the dust in the fingerprints and yeah, collecting all the evidence, looking through the microscope. That was about it. I watched the show a few times.
Oh, what? Was it CSI? Did you watch that one?
CSI, yeah, CSI Miami, CSI New York, big fan.
Ah, but was the original the best one, or did you prefer the follow ones?
Do you know what my favorite part was? You know, like at the start, it always had like a song from The Who. I'd
Yeah,
always sing along. My dad still talks about it to this day.
I've got a fun story about CSI. The original one, it's Las Vegas they're based, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, with
We
Horatio,
we
Horatio Kane.
Yeah, him. So we used to watch it. No, he Horatio Kane was Miami, wasn't he?
Was he? Who was Las Vegas?
The beardy guy.
I don't think I
Don't
watched
know.
Las Vegas
Either
then.
way. All right. So the lab assistant in the second one, sorry, in CSI, the original CSI, he one day had a ringtone, and so at the time, I just managed to set myself a ringtone, and I had oh my god, what are they called? Bad Company. Feel like making love. I set that as my ringtone, yeah, and I was like, so my phone started ringing. It was brilliant, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm not joking. A few weeks later, we're watching CSI, and the lab tech has the same ringtone.
Did that make you feel cool or make you feel like you needed to change it?
I've always been a bit of a pioneer when it comes to being at the
Bit of a
forefront
trendsetter.
of yeah, trendsetter. That's me.
Yeah, I get that vibe.
Yeah. Okay. So, hairdresser, drama teacher, or CSI investigator. I know. Is that what that is? CSI
Crime scene
forensics.
investigator,
Yeah.
investigator.
Yeah, that one. One of those. All right. I'm going to cut that bit off just so you're like, I want to be a crime scene investigator. Uh, okay, so you've gone for those 3: hairdresser, crime scene investigator, drama teacher, not in that order, and somehow you've ended up a chartered accountant.
Yeah,
Okay,
obviously that
cool.
was my fourth choice. I mean, what little
Ah,
girl doesn't want to be a chartered accountant?
okay. So tell us. So you mentioned sixth form, so you've obviously done that. What happened after that then on your journey?
I half did sixth form. So I did my GCSEs, went to sixth form, decided I'm going to be really smart. Like I did okay with my GCSEs, um, not really a big studier. So I went and I did chemistry, psychology, maths, and further maths as A levels. And as you can imagine, when you don't want to study and you pick 4 very like academic subjects, you kind of need to. So I was sort of tootling along, working at weekends at WH Smith's, good old WH Smith's. And yeah, I wasn't doing very well. I was failing all my tests. And I thought, it's not for me. I don't really want to be doing it. I had like my first year of exams coming up. And I thought, what can I do instead? And one of my friends, actually not the firm which I ended up at, but one of my friends saw an advert for a trainee accountant. So I went to that interview and it was actually the most chaotic interview I've ever been to. My friends drove me from sixth form, you know, when you're 17 and you all have really rubbish cars. And we're literally driving from, anyone who knows Weymouth, we're driving from the Granby to Lynch Lane. It's about, what, 5 minute drive? And we come round the corner of Lynch Lane and the car breaks down and I needed to get to my interview. It's pouring rain, and I was like, "What are we going to do?" So they're trying to push the car, and I'm like, "I've just got to walk at this point." So I'm sat in the office having my interview, and the guy interviewing me is in front of me. All I can see out the window behind him is my 3 friends pushing the car in the rain into the car park, and he was asking me questions, and I was just like, "Yep, yep." So didn't get that job, but it sort of made me think, maybe I could do this, like accountants, lots of money, that's what you think. And then, yeah, sent a letter around, the good old days before you sort of applied on Indeed and stuff. I typed up my CV, typed a little cover letter, and went and posted it for everyone's doors. And yeah, got a couple of interviews, and I sort of
Ah,
just
good.
went from there.
And and one firm took you on.
They did. Yeah, poor souls.
Oh, so so and how many years? That was 7 years or something that you did that for, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7 years. Yeah.
And you've done all your exams
Yeah.
via your apprenticeship, and now you've the full on assistant manager is your current job title, I think, isn't it?
That was my previous job title.
Oh,
Obviously, coming to Australia, I don't know the tax rules as much, so it's a little bit of a
okay,
demotion, but yeah, learning again,
okay,
which is nice.
cool. But so that is quite interesting, and it's funny that you mention A levels and not wanting to be there and stuff like that. I had a similar experience with my A levels. In fact, two subjects were the same. I did chemistry and I did psychology. And actually, I got an E in psychology and I failed chemistry at A level, AS level, sorry. So I didn't even get to the second year before they booted me out, sent me packing on my way. And then so yeah, working at that firm then, there's something I want to touch on that it could possibly be quite controversial nowadays. But for those who for those who don't know you and those who aren't are listening to this rather than watching it, you do have quite a few tattoos, don't you? You've got the majority of a sleeve and some other tattoos, but and I obviously know this, privy to this information through being friends. But at some points in your career, you have had to cover up those tattoos, haven't you?
Yeah, so obviously when I started my career out of sixth form, I was still 17, so I had no tattoos, had a few piercings, but I didn't have my nose done or anything, so it was all hidden. And then you know what it's like, you turn 18, you can get a tattoo, so you get a tattoo, and then it's a slippery slope one after another. So I think the first tattoo I got was behind my ear, so it was quite hidden. And then I got this one here, which you can see, or anyone that's listening, it's just on my forearm. And I got that done, I think, sort of 6 months after I started. But at the time, this was sort of 2016, 2017, and our firm basically had a no tattoos on show policy. So I got the tattoo done, and then it was fine because it was January, it was winter, it was cold. And then as it started getting into summer, I was like, what the hell? Like, I can't have my tattoos out. And I made a bit of a protest, a bit of a point about it. And I decided to put a bandage over it. So I'd have these nice, pretty, summery dresses on, and then I'd have like this big bandage down my arm just to make the point that I'm like, it's ridiculous. It's 2017. People should be allowed to express themselves. And it got to the point where sort of clients would notice and be like, oh, what have you done to your arm? And I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm not allowed to have my tattoos out, teen rebelling and stuff like that. And then, yeah, had a meeting with HR and sort of said, this is a bit ridiculous, a bit old fashioned, like, come on, guys. And they changed the tattoo policy. So you could say I'm a bit of a revolutionist.
I like it. And so all people at that firm, and it's not a small firm, it's a Southwest firm, can
Yeah,
now thank you for having their tattoos on show in the office.
exactly. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think the general consensus on showing tattoos has obviously changed since the late 2010s, which is the time it would have been. But it's um, in fact, I went to HSBC not too long ago. I noticed that the ladies working behind the desk, they were both ladies on that day. Of course, men work on the desk too.
Of course.
They both had full sleeves, etc. So I was like, yeah, go HSBC, well done.
Yeah, I
Not having
think
to
what
wear
was
the old
most
long shirts.
I think it was interesting for me because like I thought we're in 2023, and then like I said I moved out to Australia last year, and I know what everyone thinks. They think Australians chilled back, like thongs on, sipping a can of Foster's, which they don't have. Um so I thought, oh, it's going to be relaxed. Like I came over and I was working for a firm for 6 months, and I thought, oh, this is great. Like I'm going to be able to go over there. It's going to be hot. I'm going to have like these nice beachy like workwear outfits on. And I got over here and I had to have all my tattoos covered at all times. And I was like, oh, this is different. And I sort of thought when I get there, it's not going to be as strict, but it was like tattoos are still sort of more frowned upon here. Like there's pubs that you can go to, and if you've got a tattoo, you'll have to cover it. It's really weird, like really bizarre.
That is quite strange because you do think Australians are quite relaxed, don't you? Like you said, and for the benefit of those who don't know about Australian thongs, they are flip flops,
They
not
are.
not the ladies' underwear.
Leave it to the
Um,
listener's imagination, Richard.
well, I just thought that there's people like that sat there that don't know much about Australia, and they're thinking an accountancy firm in Australia, and all the women aren't wearing skirts or trousers; they're just wandering
They're all
around in
buying
their
their
underwear.
plane tickets now.
Yeah. Someone sat there like, hang on a second, how much is a plane ticket? How much? Um, but yeah, it is strange because you do think they're relaxed. I mean, they're very relaxed with their language over there, and like you say, a lot of people are on the beach in their flip flops, in their boardies, or their board shorts for the English people around. Um, so yeah, it does surprise me, and I don't think I didn't know that you'd had to cover up all your tattoos when you were over there, because
Yeah.
we haven't spoke about that in the interim since you've been there too often. Um, so how did you cover them up then? Was it like a cardigan kind of thing, or did you
Yeah,
have to get the
so
old bandages back out?
no, I thought that was a bit too much of like making a splash when I first get here. But it does get a bit difficult because I've got a tattoo on my hand, so I had to be sort of engaged for the 6 months that I was there. And then I've got one behind my ear, so I had to do my hair every day. It was a nightmare. Couldn't put my hair, couldn't just whack it up into a pineapple on the top of my head, could I? So yeah, it was cardigans and it was fine because I got here in the winter, Australian winter. But as it started getting towards the summer, it was fine in the aircon, and then I'd be walking home and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm sweating. Take the cardigan off." Yeah, cold shower when I got home.
Yeah, and then all the people judging you in the street, like, oh, look, she's got tattoos.
Yeah, look at her. Oh.
In you were in Sydney then, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah, I was. To
Sid,
be
Sid,
fair,
in
like
Sid.
it was a pretty like everywhere else had it, and that's what I found so funny. It was like, and even at this firm, there were a few people with like small, like when people have like the little quotes and tattoos like
Hmm.
that, and no one said anything, but they were very clear with me that I needed to have my tattoos covered. So yeah,
Hmm. So yeah, there you were walking around Sydney's CBD, like covered up
yep,
crazy times. Oh well, hopefully that all changes in the future. Okay, cool. Right, I think this is the part of the show then when we shall move on to the quickfire questions. Now, I should point out the quickfire questions are designed to humanize our guest and get to know them a little bit more, and also incorporate some of the admin world, which is my all day, every day. Unfortunately, just now, I'm not a full time podcast host. I know, I too am surprised, but we still do the admin. So yeah, so the quickfire questions designed to fit in some admin, get to know Brodie a bit more, and in my experience, this has been the bulk of the show because someone presents us with an answer, and then we deep dive into that answer. But we'll see how we go. Now, you have opted to not only not receive these firstly to prepare. When I was running through the show and the layout, you said, no, no, I want a surprise.
I am regretting this right now. I really am. I'm sort of like internally screaming at myself, like, why didn't you ask for the questions?
Brodie has full on opted for this is like Brodie reacts. This is going to be the clip on Instagram and Facebook.
Of me just
Okay,
crying by the end.
yeah, I mean, okay. So normally, what I'd say for this first question is, we know that you're 21, but you've already told us you're 26. So and it's not very long, 26, I must admit. But what has been your favourite age so far? Is our first question.
Do you know what? I think 25. 25, that was the year I came to Australia and I had all my adventures. And yeah, I think I went a bit too hard when I was a teenager, and then 18, it was like, meh, it's okay. And then obviously COVID meant that my early 20s were a bit boring. So I reckon 25 was a good age, mid 20s. So when 18-year-olds say, oh no, anyone born before 2000's old. No, we're not. We're having fun still.
Yes, I can say that for people who were born before 1992. Um, but did you notice then after 25 that the hangovers got worse?
Do you know what? And this is weird as well for me. Like when you grow up in England, you love a drink. I actually don't really drink as much anymore. Like when I drink, I'll have one or two, and then I think the hangover starts before I've even got home. And I just think, oh, I just need a glass of water now. So I don't think they really get worse. They just stop happening.
You wait till you get to 30. Okay, doke. Question two. What is your favourite quote? This could be a movie quote, a meme, a motivational quote, or other.
Hmm. Oh, this is making me panic now. I actually got asked for a quote for like my bio for my new work the other day. So I picked, if you can't see the sunshine, be the sunshine. And I think that's quite
I
a
like it.
nice one. Yeah, because if you're having a bad day and it's grey and it's miserable and you're like, oh, don't want to go outside, don't want to do anything, just positive attitude and yeah, brightens up your own day.
I like it. Good. Okay, question three. Google Suite or Microsoft 365?
Oh, I don't know if this is a controversial one. I've never used Google Suite really. Is that like sheets and stuff?
Yeah,
No, no. I hate Google Sheets. I hate it. I'm an accountant. I hate it. The functionality, rubbish. Microsoft. Microsoft.
nice.
Sorry,
I
Google.
mean, oh, no, no. We've had the majority of the answers over the podcast have been Google Suite. I think there's an argument that it's free rather than having a Microsoft subscription. There's some people have said that it's got better functions. Some people have said that it's just not Microsoft. But
Do you know
it's
what? I
interesting that
might have a reason. I I'm sorry, Dad. I've never paid for my own Microsoft. He's always paid, and
ah,
I'm just like a tagger on.
it's like yeah, here you go, have a Microsoft account on me.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Dad. Um, yeah, I mean it's not controversial. I use both. It's part of my everyday life. And interestingly, when I asked this question, I just thought, hang on a second, this is like a kind of a businessy owner kind of freelancer question. Because and because I mean you will just be not dictated to, but if your company has Microsoft that you work for, then you're using Microsoft.
Yep.
You're not going to be like someone's not going to be like Brodie. Have you done that Excel spreadsheet for me? And be like, actually, I fancy to change. I've done it on Google Sheets. Mind you, well, actually, knowing you though, you probably would do. Like, we're changing
I
everything.
do use Google Sheets. I do. I have done a few tax returns on Google Sheets and I hate it. I'm sorry, I do. I'm sorry, Google. I hate Google Sheets.
What is it you hate about it then?
I just don't think like the functions don't work as well. Like maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but they don't, and like everyone's like, "Oh, you can use it on your phone." You can't. It's crap. It's awful on your phone. You can't highlight stuff and copy and paste it that easily. Maybe I'm old now. Maybe it's like too advanced for me, but I hate it. Why have I got weirdly passionate about this?
I don't know. That's why I thought I'd ask. I mean, um, about the Google Suite and the Google Sheets. Interestingly, though, is okay. So this has made me think of a question because I got thinking about Google Sheets and doing your tax returns. And obviously nowadays in the UK, the majority of us have an accounting software because of the whole Make Tax Digital thing.
Yep.
and it was easier to go full on accounting software rather than have a spreadsheet. Though
Yeah, and
some
do
of
the
us,
bridging and yeah.
yeah, some of us have both just for fun. But um, so talk to us then about accountancy software. I know that, and so for the benefit of the listeners and watchers, that you are a Zero Pro.
Yeah, I like Zero. I've used Zero for probably like 7.5 years now. Um, so Zero is always going to be, it's always going to be my favorite. I still, even at the new firm I'm at, like they use Zero and they're like, oh, does anyone know how to do this on Zero? And I'm like, yes, I do. And I love it. And it's better than everything. And yeah, again, very passionate about this. Don't know where it's coming from, but accountants don't love QuickBooks. Ignore the ads. Accountants don't love QuickBooks. I personally don't love Sage. I liked the old Sage. I don't like the new Sage. And don't even get me started on Australian software. What's it called? MyOb and yeah, I hate it.
Oh, okay. So QuickBooks then. I've got an idea for you. You could start. You could like beef up your LinkedIn. You could be Australia's queen of QuickBooks Zero, and you could be like the Zero guru for Australia.
I could be, although it is like a Australian, New Zealand sort of company, so they've got quite a lot of gurus down here. I might be a bit late to the party, I reckon.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
Um,
this is such like a snog, marry, kill question, like three accounting softwares, snog, marry, kill.
it is. This is what it's turned into. So So we know you love QuickBooks there at Zero. Then I don't know why I've got QuickBooks in my head.
I don't know why you keep
That's
saying it.
it's because it's my next question. It's lined up. It's ready to go. It's like let me out. So QuickBooks then. Tell us the problem.
I just don't think it's very intuitive. Like it says, like accountants love it. Like it's just not, you have to have some sort of accounting knowledge to understand, either understand the bank rec or you're getting the bank rec wrong. And the majority of the time it's getting the bank rec wrong. And I don't think the reports are as good, they're not as customizable. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't use it enough. Maybe I'm being unfair on it. But I don't know. I just think every single QuickBooks job that I've picked up from a client has usually got some issues. But with Zero, a lot of the time, it's easy. And you can just like, it's got all the hyperlinks, you can click in, you can open things in new tabs. In QuickBooks, you can't open things in new tabs easily. It pulls up this stupid pop up, and it's like, no, I want to have that on a different page. I don't want this on top of what I'm already trying to look at.
Okay, sounds like definitely Zero's the one for you.
Yeah.
But tell us about Sage Pay then. Not Sage Pay, sorry, Sage.
So Sage, I think, so I've not used the sort of online version as much purely because not many people seem to use it. It's sort of, it's still expensive compared to like the other sort of online accounting softwares, and it's got so many issues with it still. Again, it's not very easy for like people who don't have accounting knowledge to almost see where anything goes. I find that most people who use Sage 1, which is the online version, are bookkeepers, which have always used the old version of Sage, the desktop version, and have decided they need to go on the cloud. It's not because it's good, it's just because it's what they know. I think the online the desktop version even, I think that one was good because people who were good at it were really good at it. Like if you got a good Sage backup, it was a good Sage backup. But now I feel like with a lot of like the Sage online, people just hop on it. Same with QuickBooks, same with Zero to a certain extent, but it's a lot easier to correct mistakes.
Okay. And now free agent then.
Me and Richard have talked about free agent before.
I get free agent free with my bank account, and my charges because uh it's mostly invoices coming in via backs paid, and then a couple of expenses, and then transfers in drawings. So the charges on my bank account are less than I would be paying for 0 per month.
I'm not against it, Richard. I'm not. I think it's great. I think that it's great that it comes free with the banking. It is a lot cheaper. Like Zero, everyone knows Zero is whacking the prices up, and it's getting to a point where it's ridiculous, and you start thinking, do I really need it? So I'm on board with Free Agent for that. Do I think it's the best software? No. Do you get what you pay for and it's free? Yes. So I'm not
Okay.
against it. I think it's good for the price.
Yeah.
But I think if
Right,
you're a
we'll go with
bigger
that.
business, it's worth investing in good software because you don't want to have to wait until the end of the year and 9 months after to figure out how you've done for the year. You want to be able to see live reports, customize them, and just make it a lot easier for you as a business owner.
Yeah. I mean, Free Agent does live reports.
Mm, I don't love them.
I'll let you have a look. You can go on the overview, and then you can be like, and then while you're there, you can do a text return for me. Um, okay, cool. Right. Now we've fallen down the accounting software rabbit hole because we were right in the middle of the quickfire questions. And interestingly, actually, I've just thought we had Neil Criddle on here from Neil's data consultancy up in Weston-super-Mare. He was episode 6 or something, I think. And we talked about software there very briefly. Um, and we talked about it in the hopes that I could just mention them all and then tag them all in social media, and one of them might want to sponsor the episode. But I got
Any
told off by
luck?
my partner for no, no. Free. To be fair, actually, Free Agent did like one of my posts on LinkedIn.
So you're basically an influencer now.
Yeah. Well, they didn't like. They only liked it. That was it.
Ah,
Um, but yeah. So, but I got told off for saying sponsor too many times in that episode by my producer, also known as partner slash wife. Um, she's like, "Yeah, stop that." I was like, "Okay." Um, okay. So back to the quickfire questions then. Now, this question has caused issues in the past, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Not to panic you. I'll explain in a second why
I
it's
am
caused issues.
panicking.
I could see it in your eyes. Your eyes just kind of went, or really wide for the listeners. Okay, so question 4 then. If you're stranded on a desert island, what app could you not live without? Now, let me just explain this briefly. So this is like you sat there on the desert island and you're thinking you're in this dire situation, and you're thinking to yourself, if only I had such and such an app to help me pass the time as I slowly struggle on this desert island, rather than I've had people say Google Maps so they could get off the island, and I've had people say other stuff. So this is what app do you need in your life uh, to be complete?
Do you know what? I feel like Google, just like Google Chrome, just because, like, if I'm trying to cook anything, I will Google how to boil an egg. I've boiled an egg, God knows how many times, but I just like to make sure. And when you're just thinking about something and you're sort of chatting to someone or thinking to yourself, like, oh, what movie were they in? Like, it would drive me crazy if I couldn't search up. If I was sat there with my own thoughts and I thought about a film and I was like, oh, who was in that? And then it's like, I'll never know. So I reckon
Yeah.
Google Chrome purely just for like, oh, who was in that film?
So the hunt for knowledge every day. Like, oh, have I used that word in the correct context? I don't know. I'll just Google it.
Yeah, I think more like fact checking myself. Like, when you use a big word and then you think, oh, or
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
else uses a big word and you have to search it up.
yeah. All right. So here's one for you: infer versus imply. I look up that so many times a week.
Yeah,
Like
I
imply
honestly,
is like imply is like you implied it, but if you infer it, it's like got some gusto behind it. Is it infer, you know that that's the right, and you're like you're saying it, but if you
Oh,
imply,
there's
you
another
guess it's
one
right.
like this. There's another one which is exactly the same meaning, but I can't remember what it is. Like perceive and I don't know. Can't remember. Oh, maybe it is
Uh,
imply. Oh, implied and inferred.
yeah, implied and
Presumed. Assumed and
presume.
presumed.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Because
The one I
assume
like,
is no knowledge, isn't
you,
it?
and presume is slight knowledge.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, I like that one. And I tell you another one I like. I like accept and accept.
Yeah. Because you know when
So
you
like,
type it yourself and then you have to think and then you're like, oh, I
yeah,
better do a little Google to make sure.
yeah. So you like no exceptions,
No
or is it
exceptions.
or exceptions? Ooh.
Don't. I've
Yeah.
literally just done my English test for my visa and it was all this sort of stuff.
Oh. Have you got the
Ask me
results yet?
how I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you get the results?
I got 100%. As someone who
Nice.
grew up in England and was born in England and spent 25 years in England, I got 100% in my English test.
That does surprise me, but well done. Pat on the back.
Thank you.
Obviously by proxy, or because not through this magical riverside.
Long arms.
Okay, let's do question number 5. Again, this is more for business owners, but you can be subjected to it. So, how many unread emails do you have on your phone right now?
Okay, so I'm usually, full disclosure, I have to clear every single email. I have over 1,000 unread emails right now, and it's really bugging me, but I feel like I've got to the point of no return, that it's going to take me ages. Like, when you go through the important ones and you're like, yeah, that one's all good. And then you think, oh, I don't need to look at that one. It's just like an accounting newsletter or something. So I just leave it, but then it's built up and now it's over 1,000. And yeah, I'm past the point of no return.
Shame. Shame.
How many do
Um,
you have?
well,
Uno
interestingly, I
reverse.
have, yeah, Uno reverse card there. 1,007, I think it was this morning. Um, Mine are like, oh, I'll go back to that, or oh, that needs to go into my receipts inbox, so I'll forward that momentarily. Usually Apple receipts. Um, but it's like say it's like newsletters. But what I found is I cleared loads the other day, and I got down to 250, and then my phone was like, ooh, more memory, and so it downloaded like even older ones,
Yeah.
and I was
I
like,
feel like it just doesn't get better. Like you have to just, like, at what point? Because I've had my email address for years. Like I only changed from my, your weird Hotmail one, which you had when you were a kid, or your MSN one. I changed from mine when I first applied for jobs because I was like, need something more professional. But like over the years, you just get so many things which you've subscribed to for 10% off your first order. And like, what do? Do you just start a new email address? Like, what point does it get to?
Interestingly, I had this conversation with a guest because she was a copywriter, and so she'd sign up for people's mailing lists for copywriting research, and then they'd go straight into her inbox, and then she'd leave them unread, and I'll read that later, as you do with mailing list emails. And so, if you had like a domain, like brodiecook.co.uk or brodiecook.com.au,
Yeah,
you could then have like a discount emails at brodiecook.com.au, and then you could just put that in all the time.
that's so smart. I'd have to have a domain though. I'm not fancy enough for that. But a copywriter,
Yeah, so I suggested to her that she sets up mailing lists at and then her domain name. Or of course, if someone manages it for you, you usually get like with mine, I get my website hosting plus 5 email addresses.
yeah,
Um, so I don't use all 5, but so I use info at for mine, and I send all the stuff there.
yeah. Look at you putting
But
a
yeah,
rad in admin.
yeah, I know. But like domains are cheap, so it's only like for your first year if you buy them on 123 Reg. who could sponsor the show if they wanted to. Um, I'm only going to do that one. I'm only going to do that one. All right. Okay. Um, you could buy brodiecook.com.au probably for £2.99 for the first year, followed by £11.99 for the rest of the years. Don't know,
Sorry,
not
what's
fact
that in
checked.
dollars?
I don't know. You'd have to convert it. What is it like 1.75? So
Yeah.
let's say it'd be like $7 for the first year,
Oh,
and then
I could get a couple
$20
of
for.
coffees for that.
Yeah, I know, but you've got your own like Brodie at brodiecook.com.uk.
Brodie Cook. Or would
Yeah.
I do Brodie
Um,
at Cook?
oh, well, you might struggle to get cook.com.au.
Do you know what?
What
My
with
middle initial is A, so how cool would it look? Brodie and then swirly A, Cook.com.
that would be cool. But didn't Captain Cook uh, find Australia? So you'd probably struggle to get cook.com.au.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to research it afterwards.
Yeah. Don't go stealing my domain name if you find it and it's available
I'm going to buy it and then sell it back to you.
at a premium.
Yes. Do my tax return for me for every year for the next 5 years. Um, okay, right. Question 6. If you could afford any car, you don't have to worry about the insurance. You don't have to worry about the purchasing costs. You don't have to worry about the tires. None of that. Just like literally, like, here's a car. What do you want? What are you having?
Suzuki Jimny. I've always wanted one. It looks like a big Explorer car, but like shrunk down. And whenever I see one, I'm like, oh, it's my car. In
Nice.
pink,
I like it.
preferably.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one. I did have aspirations of buying a Suzuki Jimny a good few years ago, about 2015, I think it was, for Marie and our daughter to take our daughter around in all the time, just around town and everything.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. I
You
think
could buy
actually I
me
saw
one
one.
if you want.
Well, cars are expensive in Australia, so
Cars are
I
expensive
might, I might, I
everywhere.
might struggle. Yeah, they're a lot more expensive in Australia though. It's like, they're like 25 grand here. Over in Australia, they're like $70,000, which is like, what's that, 50 grand? No, less. 40 grand.
35-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I
they're,
just keep
they're
signing
premium
up to the
over there.
competitions at the moment. Like, when you get all your sponsored ads and it's clear that you just keep clicking on the same stuff. Like, clearly I've been looking at Suzuki Jimneys because I keep getting ads like, win a Suzuki Jimny. So I sign up to them.
Do they still have them then? Like a modern version of them?
Yeah, of course. It's like the car of like the century.
I'm going to
It's
have
a
to
work
look
of
them up.
art.
I mean, the old ones were quite nice. Do they
Yeah,
look nice now?
they sort of look a bit more like before they had the nice nostrils like on the face of the car. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When a car has a nice little face and it's got like the nostril bits. It
Right.
doesn't. It has like a almost like grill bit now, so I don't love it as much, but it's still
Oh,
cute.
okay. So if you had a business then and you bought a Suzuki Jimny, brand new, you
Mm.
could like claim that tax relief or something, couldn't you?
Cars are never very tax efficient, to be honest. The government don't
Unless
want
they're
you having a
electric.
car unless they're electric, but even then the government's hooked everyone in and now they're like, "Oh, everyone's got electric cars. Let's start increasing the tax on those."
Oh, yeah. The
Don't
sneaky,
get a car,
sneaky.
guys. Get a van.
Yeah, there you go. Rad Ventures exclusive. Don't buy a car, buy a van. And there is our clip for social media. Um, I was talking to someone just before we started this podcast. I was having a conversation with Emily from Yellow Tuxedo, and she was just saying that they just had to register their chickens, and so it won't be long now before they probably get bill for their owning chickens because the government can't have us being self-sufficient, can they? Eating
You
eggs all the
can't have
time,
your
free
own
eggs.
eggs for free. You can't have your
No,
eggs
I
and eat
know.
them. Is that a new saying?
No, that is a new saying. Like, can't have your eggs and eat it. Um, yeah, I mean, because eggs are like superfood, aren't they? You can make all sorts of stuff from eggs. You could have fried eggs, poached eggs, boiled eggs, cakes, um,
Scrambled
scrambled eggs,
egg and
omelets.
soldiers.
Yeah, lots of eggs. And then obviously they make cool things like cakes and Yorkshire puddings. Use those to make
Do
eggs
they?
in
Do you know
those
what? I've never
sometimes.
made my own Yorkshire puddings.
I think you put like two, if you put two eggs in, I think that helps them raise or something.
The more you know.
Well, there you go.
Follow
It's
Richard
unfact
Langdon
checked.
for more cooking tips.
Yeah, don't, because it's not fact checked. As always on this show, I could probably like next season, if we do it in seasons, I should probably get like a fact checker. Oh, I could be like, wait, Steve, just fact check that for us, will you?
Like the
And then we
presidential
carry on
debate, they'll
chatting.
be like, actually, you're wrong.
Yeah, they'll be like, no, Richard, you don't put eggs in Yorkshire puddings. I'm like,
Or
okay, I
maybe
guess we
we
don't put eggs in
should,
Yorkshire puddings.
everything which you say is wrong. Like now you have to make Yorkshire puddings with eggs in them.
Yeah.
Cooking
Or
with
shall we like have
Richards.
end of end of season episode where I just make all these retractions about the stuff I've said?
Yeah. I
Like,
think
I'm
you just
sorry
need to
that.
put it at the end because what if someone doesn't watch that episode and then they try making their Yorkshire puddings? You could ruin Christmas, Richard.
Well, what if I start a mailing list and those who watch the episodes sign up to the mailing list? Oh, but then if they use the inbox tip, then they might not read it, and then I still
Exactly.
might ruin Christmas.
Do you have Yorkshire puddings with your Christmas dinner? I feel like that's a controversial one.
Well, it depends on what you have with your Christmas dinner, doesn't it?
Okay,
Because
so I mean turkey,
some, well, you
surely.
don't have to have turkey, do you?
Sorry. I
Sometimes, so,
I
so
mean
the
I
people,
always have turkey.
the people listening to this are going to be like, "What's going on?" For those listening and not watching, Brodie's playing with her camera and it's moved and now it's gone off.
Is it on?
It's on now, yeah.
Brady is having
So
technical difficulties.
yeah, to be fair, as far as Riverside goes, although very good, I think we've
Don't
done quite
jinx it.
well. I know. I'm touching wood. On the table's wood. The table's wood. Yeah, so we're doing quite well. You know, Riverside is very good, though I have experienced some technical difficulties in my 2 months of using it. So anyway, back to Christmas. I mean, yeah, you're only like 26, so turkey's fine for like however many years, but then eventually you'd be like, oh, do we have to have turkey at Christmas? Can
I'm
we not
not a
have something
fan of
else?
turkey. It's just I feel like you should have it. You can have a normal roast anytime.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But anyway, so if you're having beef with your Christmas dinner, you could have Yorkshire puddings because you're having beef
With eggs in them,
with eggs in them. Not like in them,
potentially.
like eggs make them. You
I
use
feel
eggs to
like
make
that
them.
could
You
be
don't
nice though.
like a Yorkshire pudding with
Like
fried
a
eggs in it
fried egg
or
with like a
baked eggs.
dippy, yeah, with like a dippy
And
yolk. And then you could dunk your pigs and blankets in them.
or you could break the edge of the Yorkshire pudding off and you could dip that into the egg.
That might get messy.
Um, Speaking of Yorkshire puddings, here's a fact that you might not know, being so young. In Yorkshire, they have Yorkshire puddings for starters on their Sunday dinner, not with their meal.
What, just on their own? Or is there like a sauce or?
Don't know the etiquette on it. I just know the starters. But again, not fact checked. All right, back to Brodie and Australia then. So, quickfire questions done. I don't think we did too bad there, ish. We got a
I
little bit sidetracked,
survived.
but yeah, I mean, and they weren't so surprising. You did look quite panicked for a while, for a time, but yeah, nothing too strenuous in there. Okay, so with that done, what do you want to be if you grow up?
First of all, I don't want to grow up, Richard, if I can avoid it. But I don't know. I think I'd always wanted to be like a firefighter, weirdly. It's been really random, but I don't know. I just think it'd be cool. Like, when like people are retained firefighters and they're at work and it's like you're in a meeting, you're like, sorry guys, I have to go save lives. Like, I think that's what I'm picturing more than anything. And then sliding down the pole, the alarms are going off, trying to get in your suit. Yeah, I think it's more like the fantasy of like, I could save some lives here. Saving
Okay.
lives one tax return at a time doesn't really have the same ring to it.
No. What you like with heights?
I'm okay with heights actually. Yeah, not bad. Jumped out of a
Yeah.
plane, survived.
Okay. And what about? Well, it's a bit different gripping onto a ladder though, going up and like looking at the floor, knowing you haven't got a parachute on, though, isn't it?
Or a man strapped to your back.
I was going to say, what's your deadlift like? Because if you're carrying
Yeah,
people out of buildings,
I know, but the adrenaline, surely.
oh, I don't know.
I'm gonna try it later. My poor
Yeah,
boyfriend's gonna get home and I'm gonna be like, lay on the floor. I'm gonna fireman carry you out of here.
I'm going to fireman, and you could use Google Chrome to check how you do it, like a fireman's lift or fire person's lift.
Yeah, bend your knees so that you don't injure your back. Get into that
Yeah.
age where you don't want a back injury.
No, you do not. Okay, so that's quite cool. And growing up obviously isn't compulsory, and fire person is quite cool. Interestingly, in 2009, I was going to apply for the retained fire service. And like you
Were
say,
you?
would have been the old beep, 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 beep. And we'd even made provisions so that, could have the motorbike at work and then shoot off to go and save lives. And I told my boss about this, and she was like, no, you're not. And I was like, but it's to save people's lives. And she was like, no, you're not
Think
leaving
of the
here on a Saturday night.
children.
I know. Yeah. Not going anywhere on Saturday night. I was like, all right then. As it happens, I'm not too great with heights anyway.
And also, I'm sure most people, episode 17, have probably heard about your hip. Imagine if you'd done that and you'd buggered your hip while you were trying to lift someone.
Yeah, I think there is like a thing. I think you're not supposed to lift like so a certain weight because obviously you're putting your own weight through it and you've got to put
I
extra
don't
weight
think you
through it
can
as
go
well.
into a fire and go, how much do you weigh? No,
Yeah,
sorry, I'm gonna have to leave you.
yeah. Right, sorry. Next person, come along. Brodie, come and lift this big guy. He's over my weight limit.
If
Yeah,
you're over
maybe
this
not.
weight, you can't ride.
Yeah, I'd have to have like a sticker on or something, wouldn't I? And they'd be like, oh, no, you're okay. Yeah, what are you like? 89 kilos? That's fine. And then next person's like, I'm 102. I'm like, sorry, mate, you're over the limit.
What about those people that lie about their weight as well?
Yeah,
Health
can you
and
imagine
safety in
that?
the workplace.
Yeah, someone's like, 85 kilos. I'm like, you're good on the shoulder. And then like you're walking out, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, snap, crack, and leg just goes, boom, bits start flying out, bone everywhere. And they're like, what happened? I'm like, we're over the weight capacity.
You're no way 85 kilos.
Yeah, like you lied to me. Look at my leg. Yeah, I probably shouldn't joke about that, but never mind. Okay, doke. Right, let's start wrapping up. And then if people are really lucky, they can have an after show where we talk about absolute rubbish. Actually, I have got a subject we can talk about in the after show.
Oh God,
Because
I'm scared again.
no, we can talk about music because you're quite a fan of music.
I am quite a fan of music. I feel like we
I'm
have
sure.
different music tastes though.
I think they're along similar lines. Um, okay, yeah, we'll do that in the after show in a sec. Okay, so let's wrap up then. Now, normally this would be the point where I would say, so when Brodie wants to sell her services, tell everyone where they can find you. But I can't imagine that you want random strangers who've listened to this rocking up in your inbox, because it's not like you're selling your services. But people can find you on LinkedIn if they want to, right?
Yeah, they can. So it's just
Yeah,
Brodie Cook.
cool. And then eventually, perhaps down the line, when you do start doing a little bit of freelancing slash side work as a chartered accountant, you could have brodiecook.com.au.
Yeah. or Brodie@cook.com.au. Still hopeful.
Very hopeful. Like I think we'll struggle to get .com cook.com.au, but we'll try anyway. Yeah,
We're on it.
we'll try. We'll put it in the show notes if we manage to if we find out how much it is.
Yeah, it'll be like a thing at the end. Brodie managed to get her domain name.
Yeah,
Where
it'll be
are they
like
now?
yeah, like I was gonna say, it'd be like what happened, 6 months later, and it's like Brodie has started doing a few self-assessments for people on the sideline, and also she did get .cook.com. I would imagine
Brodie is now
cook.com is
a
quite expensive.
retained firefighter.
Yeah. Um. What? How do they do the old thingy over there? The firefighters. I don't remember seeing a fire engine when I went there.
Oh no, we have them. We have a rural fire station and then normal fire stations.
Is it like do you have separate paramedics, or is it like America where they have uh, paramedics integrated with them?
No, it's separate paramedics.
More UK style rather than US style.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we're more
All right.
similar to you guys.
Uh, search domain. We're just gonna have a quick look to see. Oh no, you can't have cook.co.uk.
Oh, but .au.
Yeah, I'm just gonna type it in now. I think this is the first time we've ever Googled while on the old. Ah, cook.com.au is unavailable. Oh my
Okay,
god.
maybe I need to change my last name.
Okay, so you could have cook.online,
Does it
but
have the
that's
same ring to it?
it's £5,499 and 99p.
If anyone would like to donate to my GoFundMe to get Brodie at cook.online, Richard will drop the link below.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe how expensive Cook is. You're gonna have to change your surname by deed poll or something.
Yeah, just pick something really random that no one would have. I don't want to start
Yeah, and
naming
then
something in case someone has it.
yeah,
Something really weird like like Langdon.
yeah, weird. Can't have Langdon.com because they are a um they're a chilled distributor of food.
You've
So like a
looked into
haulage
this.
company. Yes. No, at one point my cousin did own langdon.co.uk. I don't know if he still does. Well, one of my cousins, one of many cousins. Um, okay, yeah, so I lost my train of thought there, what with the cook.com.au thing, but we were wrapping up. So, really appreciate you coming on, Brodie. You have had a rad venture throughout your few years that you've been in the career world. And yeah, so like I say, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Most welcome. So, for listeners and watchers, thank you for, if you're still here, thank you. And I'll be back next week with a new guest. And so, peace out. Thanks for joining us on Radventures. Don't forget to subscribe via your favourite platform. Always happy to chat, so hit me up in the DMs. And I'll see you on the next Radventure.